Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is time for the most stupidest Wrestlemania that you've ever experienced in your entire life. Ladies and gentlemen, it is your man, your boy, Johnny E. Johnny in right here. No Scottish brogue again because this time he's drunk at a wedding. And who doesn't want to see James MacGyver drunk at a wedding in a skirt? I do. I've seen that picture. I want more, but apparently we're not getting it. So maybe we get a run in. Who knows? And maybe we get a Scottish salute from him. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, we send out the signal. We send out the vet signal. And of course, he appears. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. The vet, once again, has made his appearance known.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
By the way, before we get started, in case you have not seen or heard from all the multiple social media things, it is now time to vote for the Hameen Media Group Awards, right. The annual awards. Vet, I think you're up for like 50.
50, yes.
Yeah. I mean, you. I think I saw you were like, here. Let me see this. We got headliner show of the year, so one of your shows could be there. One of your 3 shows. I don't think you have an affiliates podcast show. Then you're not a producer, so there's not there. Pro of the year, so you're listed there as the vet. You're listed pro of the year. Joe of the year. Hey, my name made it as Joe of the year this year. Hey, so you're also rookie of the year. I don't know how you're rookie of the year because I think you started before me, but somehow.
I started in January of 2021.
Yeah, I think that's when I started too, when James started here. So I think we started about the same time.
Yeah.
But, so, that's okay. That's okay. And then you, let's see, you're not social computer. Let's see, brand of the year. You're not on any of the Patreon shows, are you?
No. I think it's just 3. I think it's just the 3. But yeah, I mean, it's, I can't vote because even though I can vote, right. I don't want to vote because I can't choose over so many great. Every vote that I cast is like 4 or 5 votes that I'm not casting, and I can't do that. Like, so I'm just gonna sit this one out because everybody's so great, and it's been such a pleasure being with Hameen Media Group. Everybody's been great. Everybody's been cool. I've had a lot of fun, and even there's even like a fan. For the Soldier of the Year category,
we got 2, sometimes 3 Canada Spaceman, Elizabeth, and Gam Wolfers is in there. So hey, if you are on Smack Attack, you are one of those regulars on there. Hey, go and vote for our crew there to be Soldier of the Year. That's how actually I was going to bring that one up. Is we have Canada Spaceman and Elizabeth, and sometimes Gam Wolfers makes it in, and he's a part of it as well. So go do some voting. And vote for not because we're pegging you for votes, but vote for who you feel does a great job and who you feel is best. I agree. I'm not voting this year either because I would pick the vet for everything, and it just wouldn't be fair.
Yeah, it's just not right.
It's just not fair. So
you'd write me in as the producer of the year.
Yeah, I would.
A lot of scribbled write-in votes.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, Aaron Ben Shlomo, we're going to shout out you for being the first on the stream today and in the chat rooms. Looking forward for everybody else jumping on here in a minute and saying hey. So as we're getting started, as I said, if you haven't voted yet, go vote for the Hameen Media Group Awards and vote for your favorite people.
Maybe by the end of the show, we can put just like when everybody's getting ready to. When we're wrapping it up and everybody's here, that we can put a link, maybe post a link in the YouTube so that they could just go. Because they're going to. Speaking of which. Speaking of which, James MacGyver, I too will be voting, Vet. Hope you guys have a belter of a show today. I don't understand that United Kingdom slang. I don't know what a belter is. Maybe it's what he used to hold up that kilt.
Yeah,
is that what a belter is?
Maybe that's what it is. That's probably what it is. We
it's no selfie video from the car show or nothing, but at least he did pop in real quick.
He did pop in. Yeah, he did. I do have the link here, so we'll pop it up here towards the end of the show. I've got it pulled up. So so we can do that. So in case as more people come in, we can do that and talk about that. So all right. So how's your week been, Vet? I mean, I know we've been super busy this week. You and I have, I haven't caught up with the New Japan Cup. You have been kind of watching it as well. Seems like there's a lot of wrestling going on. Of course, we're getting ready for Wrestlemania. With everything there. Do you feel like it's been an overwhelming kind of couple of weeks with wrestling?
No, because I don't care. It can't overwhelm me if I don't care. But that being said, like the wrestling content is usually about the same. But what's different is the hype surrounding the WrestleMania thing. I think is what makes people think like, and that comes from everybody that's in and around the business peripherally, whether they just have podcasts about wrestling or anything. You hear people see it on social media. They talk about, oh, it's WrestleMania season. Like it's WrestleMania season, guys. Like, so this kind of happens, but really nothing changes. They don't do any extra. They don't really put out any extra content. And but to touch on that point and to touch on your nickname title here today on StreamYard of most stupidest Wrestlemania, is this not the worst seeming WrestleMania and the worst build to a WrestleMania that has ever existed?
Yeah, it seems like it. It seems like it's an afterthought. There's not care put into it. There's not the detail put into it that there usually is. It feels like, it's just a scramble still. Like they're still trying to figure shit out, and we're a week out, really. I mean, I think the thing I like about WrestleMania season is not WrestleMania itself. It's the, you get to see some of these other promotions who put up stuff. So like here, we're watching a lot of promotions come into town, and you're getting to see some wrestlers that you wouldn't normally see. Next week I'm going to be out, and James and I have already talked. I might do a run in again. I'll be at WrestleCon, but I'm hosting the Savage Gentleman and Lady Frost, and I'm going to be taking them to places and getting them to places and stuff like that, taking care of them to help them out and providing a place for them to stay. So because it's I know those guys, they're really cool, and so it's I like helping people. So in that process, I bought my tickets for WrestleCon. I bought my tickets for Zillow Pro that they're going to be at, and getting to see some of these different people coming in that I wouldn't normally get to see on a regular basis. So I think that's the cool part about it. That feels a little more exciting in that aspect. But I'm not looking like, so I'm looking forward to WrestleCon. I'm looking forward to some of the other things, but I am not looking forward to, like, I'm actually looking forward to kayfabe. Lady Frost got me in to Impact for the Impact set tapings. Nice, they're going to be here, so I'm going to get to go watch those, and you might see me wave at the camera. So nice. Vet could go, hey, I know that guy. When y'all do your Impact reviews. So those are things that I'm going to be doing, which is going to be fun and different. Maybe that's why you feel it might be overwhelming, because you're going to be into the that other stuff, the supplemental stuff around it, and I'm really not. I don't take part in that, so to me it feels the same. But it's more exciting for that kind of it's maybe somewhat similar to like a festival atmosphere sometimes, where you just feel like you've got your pick of things to do, and you almost feel like, well, shit, kind of like with the HMG Hammy voting, like, well, if I go for this, then I'm gonna miss out on this, like, because they're running everything so close together. But yeah, well, don't tell Lady Frost to listen to the Impact Attacker. I'm gonna have massive heat with her, I think. I've not been kind to Lady Frost, but I think I've been fair. Nonetheless, that's all just professional talk. It has, we won't say anything about
none of the comments I make about the talents are anything other than for entertainment purposes or constructive criticisms only. There is no personal animosity with anybody, which is not going to be apparent as we go through this show. But that's why I want to put the disclaimer out in front.
Exactly.
So that none of these talent take personal umbrage to the things that are said here.
Although there might be a couple of times where I might personally take some umbrage, because there were some moments tonight that I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? Like seriously, like it was, but it's more of a production kind of thing aspect of it. There were some things that I'm like, what the hell's going on? Which again, but like for me, I'm a big New Japan guy, so that's where like this is my first time this year to really kind of watch New Japan live, and so that's why I think for me it's been a little bit overwhelming because we've had this large tournament trying to keep up with that, and it's pretty bang bang bang, and this is the first experience for me, and it's getting me ready for G1. But man, like if you miss a day, I feel like holy shit, you got to play some catch up, and you got to do it quick. And I think that's where I felt a little bit more overwhelmed as being a New Japan fan and starting to really getting those opportunities to watch, the New Japan Cup. That's been where I've kind of been a little bit overwhelmed. I'm having to say, okay, you know what? I can't watch the whole thing. There's some days I got to look at the matches. What are some matches that I'm going to want to watch those, and then kind of pick up the highlights from everything else. So well,
like I always say, it is a sport, and it feels the same way. Like if you have the MLB extra innings and you want to watch all your favorite teams 162 games, you got to set aside 3 hours every day to get that in. Right. Do you really need to watch every pitch and every at bat of your during a 162 game season? No, you don't need to. But you feel like if you really love baseball and you really love your baseball team, whatever that may be, then you really want to do that. Yeah. It's the same thing with NBA. It's easier to handle football because it's like once a week. There's very few games, and they're very exciting, but. Maybe that's why it's the most popular sport, because you're forced to devote less time to it, I guess. But for like fans of sports that are constantly going on, with multiple games per week, like hockey, baseball, basketball, soccer, whatever the case is, New Japan is much like that. They have, some days they'll have a string of shows. It's like several days in a row, then they'll be off for a couple weeks, and so it's like a constantly ongoing thing, but to keep up with it. But it just feels the same way that you do when you're watching your favorite team, except your favorite team is everybody. Right. You're like, oh, maybe you don't care about certain wrestlers, but the ones you do, they're still going to be on that same card, so you always want to see what they're going to do. Right. And they also, the way the structure is where everybody is broken up into teams in a way. They all have their own factions. And so even though they don't like keep records or anything, like when you got this faction versus this faction, it makes things interesting. It's almost just like you would schedule it. If wrestling was a real sport, you might schedule things that way. Like, all right, well, let's put these guys against these guys in a 6-man, these guys versus these guys in an 8-man or whatever. And, they don't put the big importance on every single little match, but if you buy a ticket to see your favorite wrestler and you go to that show, you will be happy that you got to see your person, because they're going to get their stuff in. They're going to do all your favorite moves, and you know what I mean? Yeah. Like you'll feel like you got what you paid for. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, by the way, speaking of favorite wrestlers getting what I paid for, this guy next Sunday at 10:00 p.m. will be meeting Minoru Suzuki.
Oh. My goodness.
Yes, and I am bringing the poster that says Murder Hawk Grandpa on it. Murder Hawk plus Murder Grandpa equals Suzuki, and maybe get him to sign that along with some other stuff. So me and my son are going. We basically the promotion he's going with VIP. They're doing a meet and greet at 10 from 10 to 11, and then the show comes on at like 11:59. Well, I know I'm not making the show, but you had to get a ticket to do the meet and greet. So I just bought the $20 standing room only general admission, and so I could do the meet and greet and then head home and make it to bed in time, knowing it'll be a late night already for me that night before work the next day. And so I was like, but it's Minoru Suzuki. If I could get the chance to meet him, let's do that. So, yeah, so I was like, okay, that's super cool. So definitely doing that. So that was purchased this week. So my kid was like, are we really going to do this? I was like, yeah, we're going to do this. And he's like, are you going to hold the poster this time? I said, I'll hold the poster this time. I said, but I mean, he won't kill you if you hold the poster. I was like, yeah, that's true. So, but we're definitely, going to have some fun with that. So that's the kind of things that I think WrestleMania does. It brings about things where you get to meet people like this kind of stuff. Talking with other people, the people at WrestleCon, that you're going to get to meet, when would I have an opportunity to meet people on a regular basis unless I traveled, to all the meetings? It's just an opportunity to do something unique and different as a fan, to, shake hands and say thank you. And of course I'm paying money to do that, but still, there's that for me as a person, to be able to have that opportunity to like thank someone for what they do. It's really, really cool. That's the kind of fan I am. That's how I appreciate wrestling now. Especially having gotten to know a lot of the guys here locally and seeing what it really takes to be a wrestler, knowing that there's no fucking way I would be able to do that. To say thank you, I think is an important aspect for wrestling fans to know that there are not all shithead wrestling fans that are just, calling things out and being stupid. We're doing it for this show because WWD needs it. They deserve it. They're supposed to be the standard bearer, and they're not. They're being less than. But that doesn't necessarily mean the talent is. It's what the corporation is doing, I think, more than talent. So
they're failing their talents. They're failing their fans. They're failing, period. I don't care how many quarterly reports they say they made this money. We know where that money comes from. Yeah. And when the well dries up, what are you going to do?
That's the big question.
Are you going to get out the shovels and dig for more? So,
That's the big question. Another big news topic that just came out, Triple H, saying he's done with in-ring competition. Big. So do you think that leaves the door open that he's retiring from WWE all in general? Or do you think that just means him being a figure in the ring? Because, I know he said he's got a defibrillator in his chest now, essentially, for his heart. But do you think that means, if that means stress and things that he has to handle, does that mean he's having to maybe step away from the business aspect as well?
No, I don't think so. Because what else could Triple H really do? Obviously he doesn't need money, but I just don't see Triple H as the sitting around at home type of guy.
Gotcha.
Like, he loves wrestling and he wants to be around it. That's why I was sort of intrigued by the potential of a Triple H run WWE sometime in the future. Triple H and Stephanie probably, but thinking like that guy in that spot, because he's been in every aspect of that company, in the executive positions and such, and involved in so many things. And then he gets to have his own little mini promotion. It's almost like a trial run, to have NXT with the Performance Center, do all that stuff. And he's like scouting for the future. And then he transitions eventually one day into being the Vince McMahon-ish character when that time comes. That's how I saw it. And based on the results that he was getting, in the mid, 20 teens, I was like, this could be interesting, you know? So he's got the WWE down, but he, unlike Vince McMahon, loves wrestling. So he's going to bring enough of the pro wrestling back to sports entertainment while still keeping the high production values and those type of things. I was really interested to see his vision of what he could. And I feel like he would be an innovator forward, whereas what we look like, this is now backsliding hard, right?
Right.
So like, I feel like a Triple H, and that's with just the knowledge of like, or the supposed knowledge of what he may have been like as a person, whatever you personally thought of Triple H aside. I can't speak to it because I never really met Triple H, and I didn't spend any time around him, but we've all heard the stories from everywhere and we know what he could have done. And even if he did those things that were somewhat underhanded, maybe, or backstabby, or, that kind of thing, he was doing it, I feel, and not saying this is right by any means. So let me just get that out of the way. I'm not saying like I agree with it, that I would have done it, that I'm making excuses for him. But sometimes, especially in wrestling, you only can trust yourself to do something. So if Triple H, he knows he's going to be the guy. If he sees somebody like Steve Austin, who gets his career cut short, or if he sees The Rock, who is like, well, I'll be in wrestling for about, a few years, and then I've got these other opportunities to open up. Triple H would consider himself dependable, and he would want to be at the top. He just loves it that much, but he can guarantee selfishly that, he can carry things forward. He can't trust anybody else to, not to become a victim of addiction or to go to a different, company or whatever the case may be that made him think like he always had to be on top.
Right.
I'm sure he was doing it, yes, for himself, but in service of what he thought was good for the company as well. Like he knew he wouldn't let the WWE down is basically what my point is. And so now that he can step away from that, and he already had, like, let's face it, he's been semi-retired for close to, I don't know, what would you say, like almost a decade now?
Yeah, you'd say that just for one-offs or special events, So, I would say a decade for sure.
He doesn't have anything left on the list,
right?
To accomplish or anything. Accomplish pro wrestling accomplishments. Like you gave me another fake belt. Like, okay, we get it. I won the Royal Rumble. Who cares? Like he's done it all.
Yeah,
he's done every fake thing and real thing you can do in wrestling. So I think he was really enjoying his role of being like a mentor and a just looking towards the future. And maybe once in a while lacing up the boots just to, help out, but because he is a name value, right?
Right.
So just again, that's the other thing that people would always say, like, oh, you married the boss's daughter and all this stuff. It's like, well, I mean, he did enough for himself before that happened. That was just him cementing his place, right?
Right. Yeah.
But then, so John, that brings in a different sort of question because we didn't really talk about this, and I watched the whole Stephen A. Smith interview, and he didn't talk about this either.
Right.
But, as Triple H is lying in a hospital fighting for his life, they're basically tearing down everything he did over there in Florida, right?
Right, exactly.
And so he comes back to that. Now, what is he supposed to think? Like, is there a message sent there? Is this really just coincidence? Is this Vince saying, I was never happy that you married my daughter, and I don't know how else to show you that other than this. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
To undermine everything that you've built, which he was already doing when Triple H was healthy, because Triple H would hand you prepared superstar, megastar, money-making athletes on a silver platter, and they would consistently, get shit on one by one and marginalized or whatever.
Right.
Which I think it's funny that, ironically, they're leaning on some of their biggest stuff in WrestleMania this year is leaning on guys that Triple H brought in. Mm-hmm. Like you're giving Stone Cold Steve Austin to Kevin Owens,
Pat McAfee.
You're who's Sami Zayn working with?
Johnny Knoxville.
You trust Sami Zayn with Johnny Knoxville.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Those are the guys that Triple H was giving you. Like, forget about the Johnny Garganos and everything like that. Like, he was getting everybody for you. And you know what I mean? And like,
well, you got Shinsuke Nakamura in the tag team match,
Yeah,
with the Usos. So, I mean, and Rick Boogs. I mean, those are two guys. I mean, granted, it's Rick. I mean, the gimmick itself is whatever, but still, those are Triple H guys, that are going with the Usos. So, I mean, I see what you're saying there. That makes sense in a way. But it's like, but at a certain point, there's been guys that they took from him when he kind of needed them, and then they did nothing with them, like EC3 or Ricochet. Ricochet is the Intercontinental Champion. Doesn't feel like it, especially after this show, which again we'll talk about that soon enough. So I don't know. This is just a long sort of ramble on Triple H, but just to answer your question, I think that he will continue on. Assuming basically what he said in the interview is true, he's acting like he's going to continue on doing what he does. Because Stephen A. was asking him about, like,
what do you look for in the future, and how hard is it to find that person, or whatever, like he's talking about it like he's still, and Triple H is still answering like he's still. So, he also, if you saw this, like when he was, he had a moment where he kind of got very emotional when he was talking about when he says, like, every time they put you under for something being surgery or whatever, he's like, is this it? And he started to like choke up a little bit. Triple H not that good an actor. I've seen The Chaperone. Okay. So he's I think he's being genuine when you see him speaking about these things. It didn't sound like the usual, corporate jargon and stuff like that. So if he says he's going to continue in his role and go forward, then I guess we got to take him at his word for now. But that's where I was saying, like, what do you really think? Like, and that's why I want to ask your opinion. Like, what do you think about the whole thing of, you did NXT and everything. Well, it's this now. Too bad. Right.
And that's where I was wondering, like, what's his role, being that Vince has essentially demolished the thing that he was known for, which was NXT. I mean, the only thing left is Shawn Michaels is still down there, I believe. And that's because Vince loves Shawn. Other than that, most of the guys he brought in are gone. Most of the people that, they've come in, they're doing this whole 2.0 thing, which is, all Vince's vision. Hey, we're going to take college athletes and we're going to turn them into wrestlers. And that's the whole point of it, and that's, except for a few things, they did sign Texas local Roxy, to,
oh my God. When I saw that, I was just like, oh no, that poor thing.
Yeah.
She was doing so well.
Yeah, I know. Right. And I'm just like, oh my God, no, please. But that's the thing. It's like, what can Triple H do? That's why I was wondering if he's going to just kind of sit in the lurch and just kind of, be, well, I got to wait till Vince dies or something before I can make any moves, because I can't see anything for Triple H right now. Like,
does he just go back? Do they just hand him back NXT? Like, here, clean up this mess.
Maybe.
Because here's the thing. I made this point before, but like, so, forgive me if you've heard me say it, but, so like when they brought the supposed Vince and Bruce and stuff to come in and do all that stuff, right? Oh, here's Cujo 62 with the triple bypass. Vote for Cujo for Hami Media Soldier.
Oh, Cujo is another one. Yeah, so we got four Smack Attack people. There you go.
Yeah. So they bring in these people, right? And you would kind of assume, even though no one will ever admit it, you will kind of assume that it's kind of like, well, because the Wednesday Night Wars didn't go the way we thought, we'll roll up our sleeves and show you how this shit is done, right? Mm-hmm. And when they go through and they do a whole rebrand and they get rid of a bunch of people, they bring in a bunch of new people, they change the look, feel, it's essentially, if you really look past all the surface stuff, it's kind of just the same old NXT bullshit that it always was. But like the look of it is starkly different, which is the one thing NXT really needed. The dingy yellow and black, basement look was like really not getting over. Right. But I don't know, they went too far and they overcorrected with the unicorn puke. So I think that, the way I look at it is like, you could look at it as this sort of a narrative. Okay, we need you to smash AEW into the ground, and we can do it with our developmental brand. And they didn't do it. And now we're coming in and we're going to do it. And guess what? We've been doing it for a while now, and there's absolutely no ratings uptick whatsoever, even though we're unopposed. We're on a different night. Yeah. We don't have any competition. We're not getting any ratings. So do they just hand it back to Triple H? It's like, fuck it, we don't care. Here, just do whatever you did before. Right. Like, is that the thing that's going to happen?
That would imply that Vince failed.
Without admitting defeat, it seems like as he comes back from his recovery, they're like, graciously we give you NXT, Triple H, you know, like, welcome back.
Right.
Like we were just keeping it warm for you. I know we changed everything. Feel free to change some of it back if you want. Right. We got this logo trademark likeness locked down for however many years, and then after that, you know, it's like is that the way out for them? Like, we shouldn't have bothered with this. Let's just give it back to them, you know.
And maybe to save face, I don't know. This is one of those weird times where it's almost like, you know, that in a way that would be Vince admitting a defeat, that, you know, I couldn't handle this. This is something I couldn't do. That Triple H does this better than I do. But because I don't see a good way to say it without that being, you know, Vince saying, "Well, I fucked up, so here you go."
Right. So instead it's more magnanimous, like, here's NXT back good as new.
Right.
you know, like,
yeah.
You didn't think you wouldn't have your responsibilities, did you?
Right.
We were never going to take this away from you. We were just looking after it while you were recovering.
Yeah, and just totally fucked it up. But, you know, I mean, and that's, I don't know. I think Triple H is good for the business, especially him being, I guess, for lack of a better phrase, the heir apparent to, you know, Vince McMahon. Like, because, you know, he's, if nothing else, he's shown that he has a good mind for the business and that he loves the business. You know, there's a genuine passion for it. And so whether you liked him or not as a wrestler, I mean, I admit it, as a wrestler, I fucking hated him. He did his job. He made me hate him but, you know, the more you read about him as a person and you see that he's done, you know, some good things for people. And I mean, just, you know, as much as Daniel Bryan was the Connor's cure, you know, kind of thing, Triple H was just right there with it. And, you know, I mean, there was a genuineness when you saw that Triple H has a heart for kids like that. And I mean, you know, so to me, that makes me, you know, like the guy even more, because that's
look at it like this. If he is everything everybody said he was, he can atone for those sins now by helping with the future.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what he is doing. You know, that's the way it feels like. He's being that kind of mentor, don't do what I did, you know, kind of, you know, thing, and let me bring you along. So I've enjoyed it, you know, and hopefully maybe this gives him some, you know, needed rest so that he can come in recharged and ready to go and really do something fantastic, to where Vince says, you know what, fuck it, I'm ready to just go. Triple H, you've got it. You know, go for it. You know, and that's my hope, that Triple H comes back and shows Vince that I can do this, and Vince just goes, you know, okay, I can go. I can leave now.
When he says that, he will turn around, pivot on his heel, and just fall directly into his coffin, because that'll be the only way Vince ever leaves.
I agree.
Is in a pine box.
But hey, we can dream. Okay, let us dream a little bit. Let us. Yeah.
Cujo says it's like when you let your friend borrow your car and he returns it with a broken taillight and the gas tank on E. Yeah, and he splashed paint all over it. Splash different paint all over it. Put a completely different. I dropped 10 different buckets of paint on it. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was. So, one last thing, I think, WWE 2K22 is out. I know you're a gamer. You have your own Twitch channel. Opinion Haver on Twitch. If you want to go have a good time watching Twitch, go watch the Vet on Twitch. Have you played it yet?
No, I haven't.
Are you going to play it?
I'm not going to play it. Every time I buy a wrestling game, I end up disappointed. Okay. And I regret it. I immediately regret it, and I don't think this will be any different. There's nothing about the games that are fun to me anymore. Oh, when I say wrestling, I mean one of these, like, mainline, whatever the WWE has licensed. Right. You know what I mean, for their, so like all these 2K, you know, these 2K game series. You know, right. I actually launched my streaming back with 2K15, and it was a fun time to just throw the game on, and, you know, all these channel just flooded with people commenting, and because they wanted to see, like, what all the entrances look like and everything like that. So kind of started that, and that was pretty fun. But, you know, just the games became more and more of the same old stuff. And this one, like, so it looks good in still shots, but I look at the animation, it's like got the same sort of like canned animations like they always had. It looks like I've seen, you know, not just the footage they show on commercials, but I watch like people's YouTube videos of it here and there of like playing out matches or the custom arenas they created or whatever, and things like that. Just looking at it, just like it still looks weird and plastic. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I don't know why they can't just do like a simple like old school game play with the if they could do an updated No Mercy with current rosters, but just have the same game engine or something like that. Just those little things like that. There's too much going on in these games for me.
Yeah, and I mean, I've even heard one big complaint is the GMO. You only have a year, and it doesn't continue on after the year. The game resets, and then you go back and you like, oh, okay, all right. Like I'm not continuing on. Like sometimes you can play Madden and you can do GM mode, and you're playing for years and years and years. They don't do that with this. They give you a year, and then okay, that's it. Then you restart, and then you have to pick another thing and do it again. So I mean, it's I would say from what I've seen from the last one to this one, it's an improvement from what they've had before. But like honestly, Retro Studios in that Wrestlemania gaming, I like that kind of level of gaming more than I do anything else. And then Fire Pro Wrestling, I mean that one is a lot of fun. And the fact that you can get your New Japan, you can get your other stuff in there. But it's to me, that's more enjoyable than what some of this stuff is putting out. So
those games are very retro looking and feeling. Fire Pro, they don't give a fuck. They will have those graphics until the end of time. Basically, those Super Nintendo looking graphics, they're still going to have those. And the Retromania one it's got that good, WrestleFest feeling to it. I've only played a little bit. I'm gonna play it soon, but I was waiting for like the DLC to come out to give me a reason. And then I was gonna stream some of that. So whenever that DLC comes out, I'll do like a Chris Bay themed this is a stream. And I wanted to get like I would love to some point kind of get a like a HMG gamers division going. And have like collaboration streams with some of the guys if you could set up a nice schedule and stuff.
Yeah, that'd be fun. All right, well, we're 37 minutes in and we have not talked SmackDown yet, which it's not a record, but I think we're doing a good job. The question becomes: do we want to go ahead and break this seal and let's get on with it?
Yeah, I think we don't, but we do.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, we also were like filibustering to give people time to file in and find their seats and get their concessions and everything like that, and so maybe some were held up at the meet and greet.
Right. The merch table was backed up. They only had one person at the merch table. So so as we can see, a lot of people come in. Buckshot Kid, Cujo, Media M5. Looks like Lab Rat showed up, Classified Chappie. You guys, good to see everybody here. And we are about to crack the seal on last night's SmackDown. So without any further ado, here we go. Recap City. The first, oh my God, what, 10 minutes was just Recap City, where we watched the things from the last 2 weeks of, here we go. This is what we're doing. This is how we got here. And great. And let's watch video after video after video after video. And then we see Ronda Rousey will be on tonight's show. And we have a fatal 4-way match and, all this fun stuff. And okay, then we have, after all the videos, we have Chaos Brock walk into Roman Reigns' locker room. And he's like, oh, this is nice. But it's not as nice as his. And he sits on the sofa and then just starts breaking shit. Just, snaps the coffee table in two with his thing. And, and so making that the theme for the rest of the night of just, almost, it wasn't quite the chaos of him going into Triple H's office and breaking it, but like that same kind of feel. It had that same kind of, thing of he's in the other person's sanctuary and is just breaking shit for the fun of it.
Speaking of NXT 2.0, Cowboy Brock feels like a character that should have been in NXT 2.0 right now. He fits in with all those like cartoonish 90s gimmicks that they're doing here. What in the motherfuck is up with this bullshit? What do we hear this thing Natalia saying about like oh, Brock sits there at Gorilla and watches all the matches and gives us pointers and you know, he's just so helpful and I'm so thankful for him. Since when? Since when is Brock Lesnar the new John Cena of fucking backstage politics of like, I'm the guy now? Like, what did they do to Brock to make him be this? Or are people just saying he's this? Like they want the image of him to be like this.
Well, I find
and a ridiculous cartoon cowboy, by the way.
Which I find that interesting because, you know, that was after was last week where Thunder Rosa was upset with him for making fun of her culture and then, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Back in 2004?
Yeah, I know, right?
Is that what she's referring to?
I think that was what it was, you know, about, you know, when he came out with the mariachi and all that kind of stuff. And
oh, you mean the only personality he ever showed in the time that he was there in his first run?
Right, exactly. But yeah, that was offensive, and so blah 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 blah, making fun of her culture, and that was last week. I'm like, by the way, you've had like how long now to say something about that, and you're just now doing it now. And I get it now. She has a platform because she's the AEW Women's Champion, but still, it's like.
Yeah, she wasn't allowed to say anything before last week.
Right. Because, you know, heaven forbid, you know. But, you know, then it's like, it's almost like in a way, this is kind of, oh, no, Brock's a good guy. Look, he's sitting in our matches and he's doing this and doing that, which, by the way, I don't, like, I would listen to Kurt Angle. I don't know if I would listen to Brock Lesnar. You know, because
yeah, well, that's the other thing. I wasn't even going to broach that topic of like, what is Brock Lesnar going to tell you? Is like, hey kid, you should try to just like throw them so that they land on their neck, head, and shoulder next time. Just do that, would you? That'll get you over. You know, like what advice does Brock Lesnar have? But that's beside the point. Maybe he does have good advice. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I'm just saying like, one of a few things is happening here. Either one, Brock Lesnar has had some kind of a Grinch-like change of heart, and his heart grew 3 sizes. Maybe not due to the anabolics, but due to him caring all of a sudden. 2, he was always like this, but the persona was that we wanted him to act. We wanted people to think he didn't care. So like, You're either lying then or you're lying now. Like, which is it? Like, what is real? Or is it that Brock Lesnar has lost all leverage because they know he's got nothing else to do and nowhere else to go. He can't tease going back to UFC anymore because he can't. You know, he was never going to leave when he threatened to leave because he would have got his ass kicked by any of the people that he would have fought, like really bad. And then that would have dropped his stock the same way that, you know, you could argue that Ronda Rousey's stock could have been much higher had she come in earlier, right?
Right.
So is it that he lost the leverage and he has nowhere else to go now? So he's acquiescing to things that they always wanted him to do, but he refused. And now he's got no cards left. And he's basically singing for a supper. Is that the case? Like, look, Brock, you need to sit and watch Natalia's match now, or we're not going to pay you. Like, what is behind this? You would think of the Brock Lesnar that we've heard about all our lives, that when they tried to like hand him a cowboy hat, you know, he'd like stick it down in their mouth or whatever, like for even suggesting it, and then suplex them. But instead, he's out there being a cowboy Brock.
Yeah, but
with a flannel with his logo on the back.
Yeah, I know, right? The logo on the front, logo on the back. But I mean, like, that's the thing, though. I've seen pictures of him like just out and about wearing a cowboy hat because he lives on that ranch out in Canada's Minnesota area. So I mean, part of me wonders if this is just not his persona. You know, like, you know, I'm going to wear my cowboy hat. I'm going to do what I want, kind of thing. You know, and you know, because he's come back looking more Farmer John kind of look. You know, and that's,
I don't know, that top now looks more like he should be a third Viking Raider.
Well, but yeah, like that's,
so they're not leaning into that. He's got the Viking look, and here's your cowboy hat.
Yeah, he got your So, you know,
because you remember when John Wayne used to pull his hair back up in that,
right?
You know what I mean? Like, we all remember those things, but
that's all those things. But yeah, so we get that. Then we get a video of again recap of Boogs and you know, doing their whole, well, this is how we got to this point where we're going to have another match, where it's now Shinsuke Nakamura with Rick Boogs versus Jimmy Uso, because last week it was Boogs versus Jay. And so now there's a whole mess up, and then they fight before the thing, and Boogs presses Jay above his head and throws him to Jimmy, and then we go to commercial break, and now order has been restored, and so that we can actually have a match. Thank God for commercial breaks there, Vet, because Lord knows if they would not have been able to, get order with these teams before the commercial break.
That's the benefit of buying a ticket for the live show. As the audience, your special treat, not a dark match main event, but you get to see them restore order during commercial breaks. That's what that's why you want to go out to all the live events and make sure that you see order get restored.
This is not the first time. This will happen more than once tonight. too.
Yeah. Well, let's point out a couple things here. So we already got a recap to start the show. We already know, like, going into watching an episode of Smackdown, you know you're going to get 2 minutes of recap right off the top. So boom, chop that 2 minutes right out. You can just fast forward it if you DVR'd it, or you can show up 2 minutes late if you're watching live. I don't know why anybody would, but here we are. The second recap comes during Shinsuke Nakamura's entrance.
Right.
The stuff they showed in the recap with the Usos and everything, Michael Cole could have explained that in 10 seconds while he's walking down there, but we had to make sure that, you know, we put these poor, beleaguered producers to work making a video package for something completely unnecessary. Right. You know, those are the real heroes of WWE. These people have to slap together all this footage and, you know, try to make it something. In the service of progressive,
right.
The match flow, you know,
right. Yeah.
Progressive insurance.
Yes.
So anyways, when they come out of break, like you said, why are they playing Nakamura's music? Did you notice that?
Yeah.
He already made his entrance.
Yeah.
You stopped playing the music. Once they restored order, why'd you play his music again?
Why even so many production miscues tonight? It was not even funny. Yeah.
And then during the match too, last thing I'll say about this particular segment here, because who cares about the match? With all due respect to these guys, it's just, you know, what are we supposed to say? They've already decided this was going to happen like a couple weeks ago, and now they have to tread water for a month until WrestleMania is here, right? So this is it. This is the water treading. But during the match, we get the third recap of the show. Don't worry, I counted them all. This recap is a picture-in-picture of Brock going into Roman's room and putting his feet up on the counter, which we already saw. Why not do a live shot like this is Brock Lesnar in the room right now, because we're going to go back to it later. So why not just get a footage of whatever he's, you know, whatever grapes he's eating this time, instead of just showing a third recap in this spot in a picture-in-picture. My God.
Yeah, like exactly. I said, why are we not going live? Like, hey, Brock Lesnar apparently still has not left Roman Reigns' locker room. Let's see what he's doing now. Instead of the recap, where I'm going, why are you showing me, which I just saw this 5 minutes ago? Oh, wait, there's a commercial break. That's why we have the recap. Because heaven forbid, we can't remember anything after a commercial break. That's why we had the recap. See, I'm figuring this out. This is because we're idiots. We're watching the show. We're idiots. So we couldn't have possibly remembered 5 minutes ago that, because there was a commercial break, and all those commercials got our attention.
Which we all watched, and we all went and bought all the products that they showed us.
Exactly, because it's supporting WWE. So that's what we do, right? So,
Now Society Reviews has a comment that says WWE has literally been phoning in its production for months. I wish they'd been phoning it in. They have to go out of their way to make it this convoluted. Like cutting during entrances and going to break and producing packages to stick in between entrances and other, like, this is way too much work. Like, I wish they would phone it in. So they need to just fucking relax. Yeah, man. They're doing all this stuff that all it does is piss people off. Like, everybody's confused. It doesn't help short attention span people. It's just more confusing, you know? So
yeah. So really, this match went for a good bit because they had a commercial break, with this match. Surprisingly, so you go to start this match and you brawl and go to a commercial break. Then you have the match and you go to a commercial break, and then you finally end the match. So this would be, I think, our longest match of the night, here for the show. From everything that I remember, this was about a 10-minute match, so I think this was the longest one of the night, and it gives the Nakamura a win, which I was surprised because I was expecting 50-50 booking. Honestly, I thought they were going to do that whole bullshit of, oh well, the Boogs and them won last week, so Shinsuke's got to lose this week because we got to keep it even, and they didn't do that, but they got the heat back because Jay grabs Boogs' guitar, and then Boogs fights back and keeps him from smashing the guitar, and we have a win that way. So it's surprising. Like I don't know. Are they trying to set up the Boogs and Shinsuke, who are kind of a put together tag team, are going to beat the Usos, who have been a tag team together for 15 years now, or so? Is that how long? Are they setting that up? That WrestleMania?
It feels like it. It feels like they've been in the bloodline for 15 years.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. At the end of the day, decent match. I don't think I didn't expect the end, to get Shinsuke getting another win. I thought it was going to be 50-50. So I kind of enjoyed that. But there was nothing spectacular about the match. It was a match. It was a typical Shinsuke Nakamura match. And, so the question becomes, when they do this at WrestleMania, what's having Shinsuke and Boogs in the match together as a tag team going to do with Jimmy and Jay? I mean, I don't know. To me, I don't look forward to this match at all. It feels like complete, just thrown together, match. Kind of like, which is what most of WrestleMania feels like. Like later on in the night when they recap the nights of this is what's going on these nights, I'm going, okay, there's like one or two matches that I'm actually interested in. The rest, I don't know, feel like afterthoughts. So, I mean, especially because next week you've got the Andre the Giant Battle Royal and you've got Ricochet defending the Intercontinental. He's not even making it onto WrestleMania. He's on the Smackdown before, where he's fishing in the triple threat, which we'll talk about later. But, you've got stuff like that making Smackdown, where you've got a title defense before WrestleMania, but yet you've got some other stuff that's not even put together. I don't know. This, to me, just, again, I struggle with this because it makes no sense. It feels less than. This feels like this should be on SmackDown. Honestly, there's no right. WrestleMania, I guess, pop to it.
Perhaps this is sort of the Roman Reigns rub, where it's like, well, we got to have the Usos at WrestleMania because they're part of the bloodline. We can't just have them on a SmackDown thing. Maybe that's it. Which, fine, I guess. I don't know. Right. They are the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. So you kind of forget that. Because it doesn't mean anything because there are no tag teams. They already burned through a bunch of stuff with the Viking Raiders. You would have thought that would be the match that you could have at WrestleMania if you built to it. Because they could have a good tag team match if they had just enough time. And that they would have time because they're trying to fill 2 nights worth of WrestleMania.
Exactly.
So they don't really have 2 nights worth of WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. They only have maybe at best 1 good night. So they have to, notice they're just trying to throw things together. They're still throwing things together too, like just triple. How many triple threat tag team matches are going to be on there? Isn't there going to be like 2 multi-team tag team championship matches on there?
The Raw men's is a 3-way and the women's is a 4-way.
Right, which was a 3-way until they added somebody like last week, right?
Yeah. Shayna Baszler and Natalya were added at the last minute now. So, there's another one I think or something like that. Oh no, I'm getting the Ricochet triple threat for that title confused. So, so the tag. So you got 2 tag matches that are multi-man matches. So,
right. So I was wondering if anybody's going to next week at the last minute insert themselves into this. Like the Viking Raiders will show back up and be like, hey, what about us?
Yeah.
Because they weren't on this show at all, were they?
Nope.
So why not?
We haven't seen the Viking Raiders since they've lost to the Usos.
All right. So it's like, yeah, that would have been the obvious match if you would have not screwed everything up until this point. To have the Viking Raiders, War Machine, Viking experience, war experience, Viking machine, whatever you want to call them. To have those guys in a featured, match with the Usos, that would be a good match. Mm-hmm. It would be a good match. It would be worthy of a WrestleMania. Obviously, because that was the only real choice, because there really are no tag teams. They fucked that off. So, you will find that the WWE has shot themselves in the foot. We have a lot of jokes here in the chat about year in advance booking.
Yeah.
And it's yes, they've been booking a year in advance if they plan to sabotage their next year, because a lot of these people could have been made by now, and it would have been like a really cool to have. I don't want to say it would have been really cool, but it would have been cooler than it is to have a 2-night WrestleMania with a bunch of packed with stars that are having matches that you want to see. Mm-hmm. Now they've marginalized everybody, so that nobody even seems like they deserve to be on WrestleMania.
Right.
So yeah. That's where we're at with this.
Yeah.
And where are we at in the actual show now?
Oh, so now they after that we get the highlight of Kevin Owens trolling Chicago as Stone Cold.
Oh, so that's the fourth recap.
Right, the fourth recap there. And then we get Brock Lesnar's in Roman's room, and he drinks champagne straight from the bottle and spits it out. And he throws the bottle against the wall, breaking it like a temper tantrum 4-year-old. And they remind us WrestleMania is 8 days away, and we go to commercial. And then next, the Undertaker will be introduced to the Hall of Fame and following Smackdown. And then Shad Gaspard posthumously receives the 2022 Warrior Road, which should have happened 2 years ago, you dickheads. That pissed me the fuck off. You know, I mean, I was cursing at the screen. Yeah,
well, they're honoring him now, not honoring him in life when he was there.
Or right after he died. But especially not because, well, the reason I say that, John, is because, so Shad, I knew Shad a little bit. He was the kind of guy that draws a lot of heat in wrestling. Not because he's an asshole necessarily, but because everybody else is assholes. So when they see a guy that's just like, he just has like a big personality. Like he goofs around a lot. He has a good natured sense of humor. He was a good guy. Mm-hmm. Like he just was. But that pisses people off in wrestling. They don't like people that have big personalities, even though they say that's what they want. They want who they want to have it. And then if you, doing shit like he did shit like, what did he do? I guess one time he had like his own personal hairdresser come in and was like braiding his hair in a hallway, and that got him some heat. You know what I mean? Like shit like that. Like I doubt anybody really was put out by it, but that's just the kind of shit that people, that whole thing. Right. So, so he got all the heat, and poor JTG had to to take the heat along with that. Even though he was just always kept to himself and was always a professional. But because they hated Shad for just being a gregarious personality, right?
And that's where the Crime Time run ended, probably just because they were like, get rid of this guy, and now to see this like, I know these probably aren't even the same people working there that are like, hey, let's do this. Maybe some of them are, but yeah, it's always going to sting just a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you could, if you guys weren't all just such a bunch of fucking pricks, he might still be working there in some capacity.
Right. Yeah. Because, I mean, I met him a couple of times at the VIP shows. Him and JTG were the tag champs for a while here. And super nice dudes. Like, really, like a lot of fun. Like, went one time and it was my dad's birthday. That's when we first met him, and he was super cool with my dad, and because it was my dad's first show and everything like that, and helped my dad to like really get into wanting to watch live wrestling. To where my dad was like, hey, when are we gonna go to another show? Like, so I mean, he was one of the guys that helped my dad really come and enjoy it. So I enjoyed Chad. I thought he was a great dude, seemed like a nice guy all the time. And so the fact that people were petitioning last year for him to get it and they didn't do it, it's almost like they were like saying "fuck you" to the fans and giving them a finger, and to everybody else. When
we're not going to do what you say. We're going to do it on the old wrestling cliche, on our time.
Yeah,
on our time, guys. We'll induct them on our time.
Exactly. Yeah. Which I don't know, like, and I guess that's why it kind of because it feels so less than now. It's just like after the fact of as Media M5 says, as if they needed someone, and Shad. We'll just that was a thing. Let's do that now. So
we all have those friends like Shad who are just a lot. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, they're not bad people. They don't do anything bad, but sometimes they're exhausting to be around, know? And you cannot absolutely be that person in WWE in the, in the 2000s. Like, it was the most miserable place ever. I guess it's a lot better now, and I'm thankful for those guys that it's a little bit less of a culture like that. But, I think Crime Time would fit in much better of the WWE of today, not counting the shitty creative, of course, but just like the backstage camaraderie, from what I hear, seems a little more relaxed than it used to be for, those. But yeah, whatever. Whatever it takes for people to have awareness of Shad and to honor Shad. Like, yeah, we can be a little bit bitter about it, but at least it's happening. So, that there is that at least.
Yeah. And so then we get a Caleb Braxton interview with the Scottish Warrior Drew McIntyre about how he wants to, beat Baron Corbin, undefeated Happy Corbin. And then we get another, I think it's recap 5.
This is number 5 of Corbin's entire arc. They might as well just start in NXT when he had hair and do all that. Like, they might as well start when he was born. Like, just say, like, show baby pictures.
Yep.
Here's my entire life up till this WrestleMania now.
Yeah. And so we get, the whole video package, and then them talking backstage, him and Madcap. Madcap tells a joke that, Corbin doesn't like. And I think Michael Cole makes reference, that's 2 weeks in a row. I mean, again, it's like, are they going to do the whole Wardlow thing of Madcap going to turn on, Baron Corbin, setting the seeds for that kind of aspect of it? Because, look, Wardlow did it with MJF and that worked. So let's do it with Madcap and Baron Corbin. And
you look at how Wardlow looks. Yeah. Wardlow looks like a megastar, and then you look at this guy wearing suspenders with shorts and nothing else. Like, do you really think you're going to spin this guy out into a top babyface?
Yeah, we can do that. We're WWE. I mean, that's the problem. They're going to do it. Yeah. And then,
they know they can't. They know absolutely know they can't, because they know this is a rib in the first place.
Yeah.
You were a football player, like You're one of those athletes that we like to, the whole athlete program. What is it called? What do they call it?
I know.
Somebody in the chat knows what they're calling it. This bullshit collegiate athlete thing.
The NIT or like yeah.
I don't remember, but
NFT, name face NF. Yes,
it's like NFT. It's a non-fungible token. They're all non-fungible tokens. You can buy your own Madcap Moss digitally, and you can own it.
NIL.
It's one of a kind. Yeah.
Name, image, likeness. That's what it is. NIL. Cujo. Good job, my man. Name, image, likeness. That's what it is. And and then yes, Canada Spaceman. I am a tired old bookie due to people placing bets.
Yeah, so essentially, Riddick Moss would have been one of these.
Yeah.
Like, you used to play football, you're jacked, you should be a wrestler. Okay. And here he is, and he's been in the system for like fucking 8 years now. Yeah. And this is what you had for him. You know what I mean? Like, clearly this is what you think. So watch out, Gabe Steveson. You know what I mean? Like, don't get too comfortable before, they're going to have you wearing like a fucking jester cap or something.
But I did see an article saying that Brock Lesnar called him after his thing and saying like this is the heir apparent, as Gabe Stevenson is going to be Brock Lesnar's heir apparent, supposedly, in WWE.
Well, since Brock is calling the shots now, maybe he can protect Gabe.
Maybe so. That would be,
even though his brother is in NXT and they don't even they completely gave him a gimmick name. I can't remember what it is, but it's like a complete gimmick name. So they're not even going to capitalize on his brother being related to him. or like doing something with that. Like they could have a family tag team.
Well, they even did that with the Usos brother, who's in NXT. They didn't give him the name,
And too. Well, at least you could say, like, obviously I still wouldn't have done it, but at least the difference there is that the Usos been up there for a while, and this guy's like trailing behind now, so he just got there. But you're talking about signing this Olympic athlete and his brother too at the same time, and it's like you're not even going to say that that's his brother.
Yeah,
he's just going to be some random guy. That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah,
that's leaving whatever money you think you're going to get with the one guy on the table, you could have had with two, maybe.
Who knows? So then after this, we get that Rich Holland and them, they make their entrance with Sheamus and Butch. And this is where the production issues really begin to spiral out of control. Because you see, they come, well, first of all, Sheamus comes out, and then Ridge, and then and Butch.
Is this where we get the recap number 6?
Well, I think it's yes.
Where it's like the cast of Snatch versus New Day, that whole story.
Yeah. So what's funny, as they're coming out, Butch does his Pete Dunne fist to the face, and Sheamus goes to like basically almost, it looks like he's trying to slap him and say, no, you don't get to do that anymore. You're not Pete Dunne anymore. Like, because there's a whole thing where like Sheamus has a shillelagh and he like goes towards the face where Pete Dunne is doing his thing. Like, and it was like, okay, that was awkward. It like super awkward and not weird at all. And then you go to commercial break, you come back, and we show the whole Ridge Holland beating Kofi Kingston with the Northern Grit and some everything's like that. And then as Kofi's coming out, being accompanied to the ring with Xavier Woods is Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston or something along those lines. The ring announcer makes that announcement.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they did. Like, I listened to it. So, like, as he's coming out, the ring announcer goes, coming to the ring now, Xavier Woods, being accompanied with Xavier Woods is Kofi Kingston. And Kofi Kingston comes out by himself. And then it's
shit.
Hey, well, maybe Kofi, Xavier Woods, like, Michael Cole scrambling, so now they say something about Xavier Woods. And then it's like, oh, wait, you think I came out here, you were to fight the New Day, but who says you were to fight me? And it's like, it's Xavier Woods. Like, so Xavier Woods, everybody knows is coming because it's already been announced and said. They're trying to kind of cover it up as best they can. Then Xavier Woods comes out, and Kofi has already said that you're going to fight the New Day, not necessarily me. So Xavier's fighting, but Michael Cole keeps thinking that Kofi is fighting in the match until Xavier gets in the match. Oh, it looks like Xavier's just fighting in the match now because Xavier's taking all this stuff. It was such a clusterfuck of a night. It was awful. I was like going, what in the hell is happening right now? What the fuck is going on? It was the worst moment I've ever seen on TV for WWE. It was awful. Awful. The fact that you have the ring announcer. Yeah, exactly. See, Sheamus that was his thing. Sheamus slapping Butch's hands. He literally did. He went to go do that. And he slapped his hand almost. And yeah, dude. And then Candace Page Marco, they switched. He literally said that. Like, but they're in the ring. They've already made the announcement. Kofi says, we're going to fight the New Day. You didn't say you were going to fight me. And then here comes Xavier Woods. And then, but the whole time he's saying Kofi's going to face, Ridge Holland. And then it ended up being Xavier Woods. And it ended up being a minute match because they do a roll up, 1, 2, 3, and boom, it's over. Oh, what? Fucking hell. It almost needed to be because it was so fucking bad to get to that point that they had to do that they had to do the 1 minute match to just get the fuck out of there. So this is my lowest point of the night right now.
That's pretty bad. Pretty bad.
It was.
I somehow missed the announcers because, years of experience of me tuning them out and everything they say. Like I missed what Cole said and I missed what the ring announcer said. But yeah, that sounds awful. It won't even be the only thing like that happens tonight either. Because,
no. We've already talked about one earlier that night.
But yeah, so yeah, like that's pretty bad. On top of that too, I thought it was funny too, like we're not expected to remember Brock putting his feet up on a table 30 minutes ago, but we have to, but like I'm surprised that they didn't explain why Xavier Woods is a king and like go through a recap of the entire King of the Ring tournament and like all that stuff leading up to this too. So they could have bought themselves 5 more minutes,
Right, but no, we turned this into a 1.5-minute match that ends in a roll up. roll up inside cradle. So,
Woods is like at the end. He's like, "That's my best move.
Yeah,
that's my best move."
I mean, when you have 3 ass kickers, quote unquote ass kickers, and Rich Holland, Sheamus, and Butch, and you win with a roll up.
Yeah,
because
that's the best way to fight it. If you ever have to get into a street fight with some rowdy European guys or whatever,
right?
James just drop down, grab him by the leg, and just roll over.
All right. So if me and James ever get to a fight, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna grab him and I'm gonna roll him up. All right. Yep. They could have showed the replay. Yeah.
No, let's never show that again.
Yeah, please, for the love of God, don't do that. So, all right. So then after this, we have Paul Heyman inside a limousine holding the Universal Championship, and Roman. Brooklyn is dying to acknowledge their tribal chief, and they talk about how they went to Del Frisco's and had this steak, and then $5,000 worth of sides, and Madison Square Garden where he busted Brock Lesnar open, and he says he better get out of his locker room or he's going to have him bleeding all over Brooklyn. And then Ronda Rousey makes for an entrance and then goes to commercial break. And then we come back with a video package.
Yes, number 7. We're at number 7 now while Ronda's just standing there.
Yeah. Watching Charlotte Flair put her into 2 different Pornhub video poses, which they zoom in on. One with the grabbing of the teeth in the mouth like that, put her in the fish hooks as she's bending her back. And then the other is when she does it again with the kendo stick. So apparently Charlotte has a thing for putting her in Pornhub poses to make her tap, which she hasn't. So
we got to get something worthwhile out of this.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not complaining, but it just seems to be Charlotte's go-to move. Is those? So we get this wonderful video package, and the whole time Michael Cole is saying she hasn't tapped, and we get Ronda talking about, come on out and we're gonna fight, and I'm gonna beat her Barbie ass, and then Charlotte appears on the screen and she's not there tonight, and she's, oh no, it's I'm my time, not your time, and and Ronda says, I was 14 when I broke my first arm, and she liked it. I kept counting until I couldn't keep it anymore. Dude, this it was terrible.
This is okay. So this is the kind of thing where, what was actually written down wouldn't have been so bad. It's a little generic, but it wouldn't have been so bad. But Ronda is so clearly not. Well, let's put it this way: Ronda is up to the level of creative.
Mm-hmm.
That's where she's at. Because I hear, I hear people like complaining about her, but like, let's face it, they brought her back. If they're not happy with if they're not happy with what's happening, then it's their fault. They didn't need Ronda Rousey, obviously. She didn't need them, obviously. She's got her own stuff that she could be doing rather than this. So it's kind of like she came back into a situation where on the way out, she kind of got fucked, last time. Right. Because I think she got some bad advice, like the whole heel turn stuff. I'm just speculating that it was Paul Heyman, but I think she got some bad advice, and they kind of like fucked that off at the end. And then when she came back, not too much enthusiasm behind it.
Right.
And that's probably because she's probably been following along just a little bit and seeing how the same thing that we're all seeing, like, what the fuck is this? Like,
yeah.
Who's even here for me to work with? You've buried every woman on the roster, and I beat most of them already the last go round. Mm-hmm. So like, what is Ronda Rousey really coming back to?
Right.
And then when she does come back, like we talked about, the obvious money match. There's only one money match to have with Ronda Rousey right now, and you didn't do it.
Yeah.
You gave her Charlotte again.
Yeah.
Like, and Charlotte doesn't care. Charlotte's checked out. Mm-hmm. Charlotte's going through the motions. Charlotte's not interested. So what do we expect from Ronda Rousey? Why should Ronda Rousey be putting in any sort of effort? They're not putting in any effort, and it shows. So this is what we get. We get somebody that wasn't like necessarily the strongest promo, and she's not even going to try to be one now. She's just like, right. I'm just going to go out here. I'm going to say this and whatever. And I don't blame her. I don't blame her.
Yeah. Both people are putting in the minimum amount they need to. I mean, it's just evident with the promos and the things that they're doing. It's a recap of what they did the last time. I mean, really, you think about the whole thing with the car. They did that the time before where they were fighting in a car and then they get arrested.
Or the kendo stick beating.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing. We're just, we've kind of tweaked it here and there. There's no difference between what they're doing, and they're just going through the motions. And it's, I mean, the fact that, you got people saying promos will never be Ronda's thing. I mean, she's not comfortable with that. And I mean, why not give her a Paul Heyman-esque person to be that for her? She doesn't need to be the promo person. She needs to be the kick-ass Ronda Rousey that just walks out, looks mean, and handles business, and then leaves.
Whatever she should be doing, they're telling her not to do that. We've heard Ronda Rousey cut fiery promos. It's not like she can't do it. True, this ain't gonna be one though.
No.
Like where would the fire come from? What's the inspiration to do any better than this? So like when she's supposed to be the badass that everybody wants to be, they're like, no, smile, go out there, smile. Tag everybody's hands on the way down.
Right.
Pick up a baby. All this stuff, like do all this stuff that nobody wants to see you do. And then when the fans start to get tired of it, then they're like, all right, well, we got to turn you heel because fuck, we can't have you get booed as a babyface. So, just say some shit about how wrestling's fake and you could kill all these women. And then we're going to have you lose. We're going to lose the fake match, right?
Right. Exactly.
So it's like, so they completely buried her.
Right.
Like there's no excuse to be made for them. Don't blame Ronda. Don't blame Ronda for any of this shit. She's just acting out what we're all feeling right now.
True.
True. And the same thing too. Like she left as a heel, and she comes back. She's supposed to get the babyface pop, and now she's out there smiling, picking up babies and tagging hands and all this other stuff.
Which looks weird. It just looks weird. Like it looks weird seeing her do that. Like it really does. I don't know, but that's just me. So then we have Kayla Braxton. She finds Brock Lesnar still in Roman's locker room, and he's having fun. He isn't leaving. And he tells Kayla Reigns to get here ASAP because he's running out of things to smash. And then we get the Intercontinental Champion Ricochet making his way to the ring, and Los Lotharios doing their whole kiss cam gimmick. And commercial break. Yay!
Well, let's point out the fact that here's where the graphic says Angel with Humberto, and then the ring announcer says, accompanied to the ring by Angel Garza, Humberto. And then they show a graphic of Ricochet versus Humberto on the screen. Did they not?
Yes, they did.
But then what happened when they came back?
Yeah, it's Ricochet versus Angel because,
And Pat McAfee's like, he's trying to cover it.
Yeah, I know.
By saying something like, well, I thought we were going to get, like this.
Yeah.
It's like, what is it? Okay, so here's what I say, John.
All right.
We're doing a lot of budget cuts in WWE, right? Budget cuts.
Yeah.
You've seen a lot of people go. Most of them are still in 2K22. So if you go pick up your copy of 2K22 right now, you can play as most of those budget cuts.
Yeah.
But what do we need Kevin Dunn for? I'm sure he costs a pretty penny to keep around there, right? Like all these years of service, like his salary's got to be pretty inflated. But we're getting wrong graphics, wrong announcing. Why don't we just? I'm sure that his understudies can take care of it from here at a much lower price. Why don't we just cut Kevin Dunn?
Well, that sounds like a brilliant plan to me, but I mean, especially with the level that you're getting in the production wise these last few weeks with SmackDown, it really feels like at this point he's just there. It's like, all right, whatever. I'll be fine.
Well, clearly they can do it without him because it seems like they fucking are.
Yeah.
Because when did these kind of mistakes ever used to happen? If the WWE has one thing that nobody can take away from them, it's just the years and years and years of reps that they've had doing this, the production experience that they've had, and all that stuff is like it's like in a different galaxy than every other wrestling promotion, for the most part. And they can't now their one thing that they have, they don't even have that. These embarrassing mistakes, And
that's the thing. They're glaring, mistakes that are embarrassing, So, I mean, because like this totally fucks up what's going to happen for the rest of the night. So you get a quick match again. you get a match. It's a quick match, championship contenders match. Angel, goes. Ricochet fights back. Basically, Humberto distracts him. Angel picks up the win with a roll up, and Ricochet says, not going down like that. But Humberto, come take the L his cousin was about to get, and then the same thing happens. So then it's supposed to be Ricochet versus Humberto with Angel, and then you have the same thing happen.
So our last match was a roll up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then Ricochet comes out, loses to a roll up, looks like a bum.
Mm-hmm.
This is like a heel spot where you get beat and you're like, no.
Yeah.
You look like an asshole for complaining. Like, you're a sore loser now. You lost to a roll up to a guy that shouldn't be on your level as an Intercontinental Champion. You would think,
right?
You would hope, and then so you lose to a roll up quickly. Then you're sour. You're a sore loser because you got rolled up. Then you get your ankle grabbed and get counted out, and you look like a bum again.
Yeah.
So he looks like a bum, then a crybaby, then a bum.
Yeah.
Intercontinental Champion.
And an idiot.
And an idiot.
Because that there's somebody out there, so just ignore them and just fight the person that's in the fucking ring. But yet you look like an idiot because, you knew that they did it in the first match, so, it'll happen again. So, surely you would learn that the second time around, ignore the other guy and just finish the match. But no, he couldn't do that. So he gets counted out. And this was, like, so stupid. Like, the only thing I can think, of course, we find out that later that they decide, well, on the next week's Smackdown, the lead into WrestleMania, we're going to have a triple threat match. It's going to be Angel and Humberto versus, Ricochet.
Why? Why not just have a handicap match? And then they can both beat his ass and take his title and share it.
Because here's the thing.
Just like they share the women they kiss that also are AEW wrestlers.
Yeah, right? But let's be honest, it's probably that whole mindset of like they're going to try to face each other and they're going to fight over it, and then that's how Ricochet is going to maintain his win. Is they're going to argue over and they're like, no, I want the belt. No, I want the belt. You for me and you for me, and then that's how Ricochet's going to win and keep his belt.
Of course, because they would be so proud of themselves for thinking of that too.
Yeah, and look what he done. So this,
and that's how they have to sell this bullshit to Ricochet. No, because this is what we're going to do.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Like, I mean, nobody would ever see this coming, Ricochet. It's awesome.
And then watch next week. Like, what if they will win the Intercontinental title?
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Well, we plans change, Ricochet.
Yeah.
We just felt like we wanted to go with the hot hand.
Humberto is just smoking right now. We need to put a rocket strap on his ass and just really get him over it. Oh my God. So then we go to Sami Zayn, and Knoxville, has no chance against him. He will really bring the punishment because he's got his pranks and everything, but I'm the master strategist. I know what I'm doing. And so we get this whole continuation of bringing Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn. But here's the thing, that I'm kind of interested in this match. The build for this that they've done to it and everything about it, I kind of want to see it now, and I'm looking forward to it more so than some of these other matches that we've gotten on the WrestleMania card. As they ran down some of these matches, and I'm like, I kind of want to see this match. And they put this one on a Sunday. This is a Sunday match, an anything goes match. So, as they say, and I mean, who's at this point? Are we just going to get Johnny Knoxville, or is like the cast of Jackass going to come out and start to help beat the shit out of Sami Zayn? I mean, is that? I mean, I feel like that's what's going to happen when they went with an anything goes match. It feels like Johnny Knoxville can just bring the whole cast of Jackass out. They can start beating on him and to beat Sami Zayn, but which I would be fine with. But that's the thing. I'm okay with whatever they do because I kind of like the build to this match, and I like seeing what anything goes means, especially when you have Johnny Knoxville involved. I don't know. Do you think this is going to be a match though, or is this going to be a cinematic where they're running around all of Dallas and doing different things, or do you think they're going to actually put this in the Death Star there? As we call it here locally.
I kind of just assumed it would just be a match, but I suppose they could do something else.
Could they do like the Hollywood Backlog Brawl where they do some stuff cinematic and then they bring it into the ring? Something along those lines.
They could.
as Labrat says, Wee Man has to punch Sammy in the balls. I mean, that's a given. You know, but to me, I guess that's the whole purpose. Is maybe you do that. You do some cinematic, and you bring it. You have them kind of eventually bring that to the ring, and then it ends there. You know, that way you protect your guys. You're able to do some of the jackass stuff. You're able to do some of the wrestling stuff, and then when you get towards the end, as you start to wrap it up, you finish it however you need to do it in the ring. And Cujo says, "I hope the ring explodes." Yeah, why not?
Yeah, not again like the not exploding like ring death match from
AEW.
Yeah,
yeah, no, that was bad. So.
Well, yeah. So, but I mean, James and I decided that it was like probably the best built match.
Oh yeah.
Which is not saying that the build has been particularly great. Just like compared to everything else, it's the one thing that because of Sammy's, you know, innate lemonade making ability, you know, he can get handed this stupid shit and still make it palatable.
Right.
He's just that good. Yeah. Well, I wonder who brought Sami Zayn into the WWE anyway.
Oh, that was Triple H.
Oh,
right.
Interesting. Well,
yeah, which I think we mentioned that earlier. So, you know, so then we come back to commentators talking about Sami Zayn, but Austin Theory, and then he smacks Pat McAfee's headset off again, and then McAfee chases him, and then he runs into Mr. McMahon's office. Dude, this is like 4-year-olds. Like,
right, exactly. You know? That's exactly what I was thinking. It's like this is Duck Duck Goose here, right on. You know, this is your live. This is your network television. This is your Fox paid how much money for this?
A couple billion.
Oh, you know, well worth it here to see a guy get his headset slapped off 3 times.
Yeah, like I mean, how many times are you gonna let Pat McAfee get bitch slapped like this? And like, you know, I don't know. Like it's. And first of all, it's not like Austin Theory, you know. I mean, there's no place to really hide for him to just shock him and go, "Ooh, here you go." I mean, you know, what is he hiding under the ring the whole time? He popped out from under the ring and slapped him. You know, I mean, I don't know. It's and then the I'm running to mommy and daddy's office. Oh, I'm running out of the way. And, oh, look, I'm in daddy's office now. You can't touch me. And you know,
this could be the worst built match for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And may I remind you, there is a fatal 4-way for the women's tag team championships.
which is what we're going to talk about next. So which we get Sasha Banks makes her entrance with the Naomi and a commercial break. And then they come back to talking about Triple H retiring from the ring and the video the video package they do for that. And then we get we get Zelina and what's her face? Masked chick. Carmella, thank you.
How could you forget after her hit YouTube show, Carmella and Corey, or whatever the fuck it's called?
Oh yeah, whatever.
You didn't binge watch that in one day?
No, I did not. No, I stayed away from that. Hey, sir, the new Halo show came out as well as Picard, so I'm kind of behind. I'm trying to catch up with some of those and New Japan, and so I'm doing that. So then you get so the jobber entrances are Shayna Baszler, Natalya, Zelina, and Carmella, and then Rhea Ripley and Liv get a entrance, and they come out, and they're getting ready to have a fatal 4-way where it's Sasha Banks, Zelina, Shayna Baszler, and Rhea Ripley. Those 4 are going to fight, but the others are with them, and of course, it can't be just a regular thing. They all end up smashing it up, and then again we have the ever so perfectly timed commercial break that allows the officials to just, because I mean, if we wouldn't have had this commercial break, that there's no way they would have gotten these women out of the ring and sorted out and kicked them all out so that only the competitors could do so.
Once again, a special treat for the live audience. Order.
God damn. I just
so couple things here. Do you like Liv Morgan's little jump on Rhea Ripley's entrance when Rhea Ripley does the stomp and then Liv does the jump?
I kind of do. It kind of works for me.
Yeah. All right. Just checking. Other thing is, has Sasha Banks ever felt less important than she does right now?
She feels like an afterthought. I mean,
Yeah.
really, I mean, it's just, you know, and I mean, here's the thing: you're in a tag team with Naomi, and which again, thrown together, like, oh yeah, by the way, we're now a tag team. Literally, is what happened, and now, which, Shayna Baszler and
Why
Natalya.
didn't we get a recap explaining how they used to be in Team Bad, and
Yeah,
this is really just like a callback, and it's actually the most long form storytelling that they've ever done? Like, we didn't get none of that.
No, because we would forget that. But then, by the way, we get Shayna Baszler and Natalya, who are all of a sudden a tag team.
Oh yeah, their long history together is
right.
There's no history.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
Poor Shayna Baszler. Remember when she came in like a monster?
Yeah, and she was a monster in NXT, and Triple H made her a badass, and then she comes in.
Almost every woman in this match, almost, you could make a case for almost all of them to say, like, this looks like a division that could have some potentially interesting matches.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, every one of them feels like they've been fucked off. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, there's not one important feeling person in there, which is why this is the women's tag team belts.
Yeah.
It's like there's so much potential here wasted in one space, in one segment.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. You have Rhea Ripley, dynamic.
My God. Why isn't Rhea Ripley should be in Charlotte's spot right now?
Yeah.
Where it's her big singles match against Ronda at WrestleMania. Exactly. That's who should be in it, especially if you're not going to do Becky. But it should have been Becky. But if it's not going to be Becky, it should have been Rhea. Rhea should have been the Charlotte.
Yeah, exactly.
And Charlotte wouldn't have had to go anywhere else on the card. It would be like, the top guy situation. Like when you have Rock Austin or whatever at the same time. Like one of them's going to be the top guy. The other's going to be top guy, plus. You know what I mean? Like it's just... That's where it should be. It's not like you have to push Charlotte down the card just so Rhea Ripley can get over. Right. But for whatever reason, they kind of like her, and the people are coming with Rhea Ripley a little bit more. But I think they just want to keep that thumb on her to a certain level for whatever reason that I don't know.
Yeah, because again, we can't have stars that are built bigger than the company, right? I mean, that's the whole purpose. So,
but these aren't even like... I mean, I understand that they believe that they are never going to have any of those megastars again, which is how you get the worst WrestleMania ever. Mm-hmm. But these seem like even to that standard of keeping everybody a certain level, they seem way lower than they should be.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, and so we get this fatal 4-way. Finally, we get all the women kicked out to where it's only the combatants, and they wrestle, and I don't know, like. Again, you have women in here. So, okay, you mean to tell me two women like Zelina Vega and Sasha Banks, who probably combined weigh 180 pounds, are going up against Rhea Ripley and Shayna Baszler, who are legit badass women, and they're going to try to compete?
Yeah, I'm telling you that.
I mean, like there was this one bit where Sasha threw Shayna Baszler and then threw Rhea Ripley in the corner, and then Shayna Baszler, and then she ran in there and did like a flying splash, and like it was supposed to hurt. And I'm going, the fuck? That's not going to do shit. Like really? And they both, of course, have to sell it. So both Baszler and Ripley like, and fall down. I'm like, the fuck? Are they like really? Like I mean, it's just you're watching some of this shit, and it's just going, no, not. I mean, if I'm Baszler and I'm Ripley, I'm going, oh, that was cute. Okay, let me show you what I can do. And then just whip the shit out of her. Like, make Sasha work. Like, Sasha is a bump machine. Make her work. Like, do the thing that she's smaller than these other people. Make that happen. But no, we have to do this whole thing where eventually Sasha Banks wins. She gets the bank statement. But she gets it on Zelina, which which is good. You don't put her on something like Shayna Baszler or Rhea Ripley, who easily could have, like, they don't need that. But, like, how they both got taken out was stupid. I mean, Zelina Vega does a Hurricane Rana, and Rhea Ripley throws herself into the barricade, so she's all KO'd. Oh, I can't get up from this 90-pound person who really couldn't throw me, but I have to throw myself into the wall because she really couldn't move me if she wanted to. But this is what Vince wants, so I'm going to do that now because Vince is daddy. And so then we get that. So at least Sasha Banks gets the tap out on Zelina, who deserved the tap out. But I don't know, man. Like this match, it did nothing, I think, for the match to set up everything. And then
well, wait till next week when we get the other 4.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's going to be the other match. Yeah. All of a sudden Sasha wins, and then here's Naomi right there to celebrate the win. But I thought she was in the back. So it was like Naomi sprinting right when she sees the big statement come on. So she's
like, "Oh, I know this is over."
Yeah, so she's like sprinting down the thing to be there, like as Sasha gets her hand raised, and then Naomi's like right there. Like, what the fuck, You sit. I'm a gorilla. I know my friend's gonna win. I'm gonna be down there and win it. I mean, fuck. This is just again.
Or maybe she never went back. I didn't see her go back because remember the order, right? During commercial break. So maybe she hit under the ring like one of the Lotharios.
Yes.
And then just waited until she heard the music and then jumped out.
Boop, there I am. So yeah. Again, this does nothing for anything. But here's the problem. So we had this match, and I'm looking at the time, and I'm going, fuck. There's no more matches. We're going to have just all kinds of shit at the end here. So it starts after this match. We get Roman Reigns pulls his SUV in, and they, Heyman says he doesn't feel well, but Reigns says they'll be fine, and Brock won't be, and all this bravado. And we go to a commercial break. And then we come back with commentators putting over WWE's relationship with the Medal of Honor Museum, which is going to be here in Arlington, Texas. And I actually may go work for them. They had some job openings, so I might do that. That might be fun to work there to honor Medal of Honor veteran.
Yeah, this is a museum based around the Electronic Arts video game Medal of Honor, produced by Steven Spielberg.
No. This is for actual soldiers who have won the Medal of Honor. It is a museum specifically for them.
And Medal of Honor that's what Tony Khan recently purchased, right? That's
Ring of Honor, sir.
That's Ring of Honor.
Yeah, no. So this is actual real life soldiers who have done brave things in the military and
so they've watched Smackdown then.
They probably no, they have not watched Smackdown.
Well, can you really call them brave if they?
They're probably smart. They're probably smart. That's why. Oh, and then we get the idea that the Undertaker will drive the NASCAR this Sunday, and then he'll be inducted to the Hall of Fame next Friday. Because I didn't know that, Bet. I didn't know he was going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
You didn't know?
No, I mean, he's driving the pace car for NASCAR on Sunday. How was I supposed to know he's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame on Friday? Holy cow. And then we find out
he's going to drive his gimmick into the ground. That's what he's going to do.
Right?
Just wring every last little bit of likability out of it.
And then, I guess, did you see the 2K commercial they did? They showed him as part in the 2K commercial. And, everybody's, racing to be, first to play the new game. And it's first game. It's and he's just walking like he does throughout the thing to try to get to go play the first game, but he's just doing the Undertaker walk. And I'm like, oh my God, really? Is this? I don't know. This is what we're doing with Undertaker. We're letting him do this now. And we talk about the Undertaker Joint Memorial Battle Royal SmackDown next week. I am so excited about that.
The prestige. How many people's names on that trophy are still in the company?
Baron Corbin's.
All right.
That's about.
Let's give it a couple more months.
Yeah, I think that's yeah. And then they also Ricochet will have his triple threat against the Los Lotharios. And they run down the Saturday card. They run down, and then Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns make their way to the ring, and they talk about the Sunday card. And then finally, we get the whole acknowledgement. Crowd goes wild. And it says, is Brock Lesnar still in his locker room? He says he doesn't know. But he knows if Lesnar's in Brooklyn, he's nervous. Reigns says it's a bad thing for Lesnar, not him. Lesnar's still in his locker room. So we see that Roman is putting on the false bravado. Paul is being legit scared because he sees how scared that, Brock can be, how scary he can really be. And yet it's Reigns Reigns' locker room is showed completely destroyed and he's not happy. Suplex City chants, and he says it's not Suplex City, it's the island of relevancy. And which I was like, wow, the island of relevancy. Okay, cool. Yeah, that just rolls off the tongue. Suplex City's not way better. Good Lord. I can't handle the end of this. It's just so fucking stupid.
Well, we don't really have to. You can just go ahead and just say what happens. All that happens.
Basically, Lesnar hits his music. He destroys the SUV. He calls him an idiot, and then he drops the pick that he used to destroy the SUV and starts making his way to the ring. And music hits, and he comes in through the crowd, grabs a chair, and pump kicks the security guard, and then starts swinging the chair. Dude, they better have paid those security dudes, those guys, because he swung for the fences. He hit those fuckers hard, and I was like, damn. Okay, I hope they got a little extra for that because he did not give them a love tap. He knocked the shit out of those guys with the chair, and then got another one and started clearing house on that some more. I mean, there was the one guy who was going towards the big Tron, and he was crawling, and it was almost like Brock was pissed that he was crawling, and he grabbed that chair and he smacked that dude. Holy shit! It was like that dude owed him money. He did do that, and then he ends the night with holding the title in the chair, ready to come for blood, as he said. And he's the only person that can say, I'm coming for blood, and I actually believe it. Yeah. Yeah, Candace Spaceman. Security? Yeah, F you. Eat this chair. And I mean, but he came off the table and gave that one guy a pump kick in the chest. And I was like, I thought he killed that dude. I literally thought he killed that dude. And then just swinging that chair. Dude, that was, fuck me. I would not want to be an extra that night. Okay. Hey, I need extras tonight to be security. Cool. Yeah, Brock Lesnar is going to just basically clean house on y'all. Fuck no. I'm out. I ain't. You better pay me Brock Lesnar money.
Well, don't worry. He'll give you pointers afterwards.
Oh, yeah. So. Right. Of how to take the chair shot better. Fuck. But, yeah. That's how it ends. Which is funny because AEW had similar things this week in the security and, Wardlow coming after MJF, which is very funny because watching that, I see guys that I know who are wrestlers here in the area. And watching Wardlow do kind of the similar thing, it's just very funny in how they handle it. It took 10 guys to stop Wardlow, but yet 10 guys couldn't stop Brock Lesnar. Because he was swinging a chair and Wardlow wasn't. But then we had it on Rampage last night, the same thing. You had guys, security guys getting beat up by Keith Lee, who probably knew a lot of those guys because again, I saw a couple of guys who I know wrestling wise, and they're getting beat up by Keith Lee as security. Is this an overplayed trope now where we're going to have security and they're just going to get beat up? I mean, is this something that needs to stop, kind of like contract signings, or do we need this to kind of still give that buffer between Brock getting his hands on Roman before the main event of a show?
Well, as far as not getting your hands on somebody, there's a dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen different ways you can write that you don't need security guards. But I'm personally on record on most of these shows talking about the security and how it's selective. There's security there when you want there to be security there, but then where in times where you would really need security, there's nobody around.
Right.
Like if they want to do an angle where somebody's about to get crippled or something like that, then they just let it happen. You know what I mean? Like, for example, they're going to have this right here where, you know, you could say that like this was personal security, you know, but of course, why would the WWE not approve the security? You know what I mean? So like, is security? So here's security for this. 2 healthy men getting into a fight, you got to break that up. However, you know, Edge and AJ Styles, he can just bash his brains in with a chair repeatedly and nobody needs to do anything about that, right?
Right.
So it's completely inconsistent. So I always say, like, look, if you put security out there every single time that you need security, then you'll realize how ridiculous it looks to have security out there all the time. And then maybe you'll stop writing things that you need security for and just calm the show down a little bit.
Right.
That's how I feel about it. So, I mean, I don't think security needs to go anywhere. I think the ideas of things where security is necessary need to go somewhere. Mm-hmm. Right? You can always threaten things, right? You know, and if you just give it to them, then what are we paying for? What are we going to WrestleMania for? We've already seen every fucking thing. Like I talked about this before when I was talking about like when I was discussing with James about after the Madison Square Garden attack, right? You have the people that show up to Madison Square Garden, already you gave them the finger because your mystery opponent for Brock Lesnar is Austin Theory. So I'm sure everybody I'm sure all the New Yorkers in that building were super thrilled about that, right?
Right.
Then you do the angle where Roman leaves Brock, you know, laying. This is where all this whole I'm coming for blood things comes from, because he leaves him bloody and laying and gives him a beating and all this other stuff, right? Well, you paid for that in the building, and that should have been your special thing, but instead they just show that to everybody, right? And then what's the next thing that we see? The next thing we see is Brock Lesnar coming out like, oh, I guess he's fine, and Roman's not in the building. So it's like, okay, now you gave me Brock Lesnar like getting a beating, and now what am I supposed to care about in WrestleMania? He already took that savage beating for Roman Reigns and just came back like nothing happened.
Right.
So why do I get excited about a wrestling match on WrestleMania? You didn't even give me the intrigue of wondering, like, is Brock Lesnar even going to make it to WrestleMania? Same thing with AJ Styles. Gets his head smashed in with chairs. He just shows back up. Hey, I'm angry. I want to face you right now. Edge, like, what is this?
Yeah.
So we don't build the anticipation. We give people things and then expect them to purchase it later, even though we already got it for free. Right. So that's basically the story of what WWE's doing in a nutshell. They're doing a bunch of stuff in the hopes that people will tune in and watch. Well, once everybody's tuned in and watched, what do they need to keep tuning and watching for? You showed them everything. You hot-shotted the entire industry. So,
right. Yeah, exactly. Well, and I mean, you know, again, this was another disappointing show leading up to, you know, Canada Spaceman. Yeah, Elizabeth, you're really, really late. Way to show up. So you get, you know,
she might lose some votes for that.
Yeah. By the way, Canada Spaceman, you know, he's putting in his votes right now. Cujo was in here earlier getting his votes in for the Hami Media Group Awards. So Elizabeth, you know, you might hurt your voting here by being so late today. But you know, it's this idea of, you know, why can't it just seems like WWE doesn't grasp less is more. You know, we don't need all these things. Yeah, Elizabeth, you are one. You are part of the Hami Media Group Awards votes as Soldier of the Year. Your name has been submitted as one of the names, as well as Canada Spaceman, Cujo, 62, and Gammers Wolfers as 4 of our Smack Attack group. Yeah. So
less is more. What you're saying, less is more.
Yeah, less
because
is more.
Doesn't it seem desperate?
It does,
John. Doesn't it? It seems like everything they do is desperate and pathetic.
It does. It really
like they're trying to call in every celebrity they know that will agree to this. The Rock's like, yeah, I think I'll pass on WrestleMania. You know what I mean? And they're trying. I'm sure they wanted instead of Brock and Roman, which we've seen 15 times at this point. I'm sure they wanted Rock and Roman, but I think Rock doesn't want to be involved in this shitty shit. So he's probably like, I have a scheduling conflict.
Or does he want to wait till next year when it's Los Angeles, when it's in his backyard? You know,
it's his backyard. What the fuck are you talking about?
I don't know.
Not from Los Angeles.
I'm trying to make instill hope that maybe The Rock will be there, but
No, he doesn't want. I'm sure he won't want to be part of it then either. He might be, but I'm sure he won't be happy about it. So it seems desperate with all the things that they're doing. The way they book these shows seems desperate. It seems desperate to have all this, like, forklifts running into cars and just stupid shit. Filmed crimes, lots of filmed crimes. My favorite thing in wrestling.
Right.
Everybody filming crimes, and. So what's the other thing? And then even down to like little subliminal things that we wouldn't really think of as desperate, but like, how else do you explain the way they format the show with these entrances and packages, and like, we have people, there's no faith that the people are paying attention to your show. So isn't that a self-fulfilling prophecy? If you treat people like nobody should be watching this, or like nobody's watching the show, is anybody going to watch the show? True. Why would I watch the show every week when I can just tune into WrestleMania one time a year? Because guess what? WrestleMania is going to have all these packages again. Before every match, they're going to have a package catching you up on the match. And that's for the people who won't watch. Well, why do they do that? Because they know people don't watch. Why do people not watch? Because the shit sucks. And other people have better things to do. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Whereas with the less is more thing, if you do less, but then don't talk about it and make it seem like the people missed it, then they'll be like, well, I can't miss it this time because I missed it last time. That's how interest grows. Mm-hmm. Seems simple enough, but as you've seen, they've taken decades of tried and true concepts that they themselves have come up with in many cases, and are just throwing it out the window in favor of what exactly?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
shotgunning, hot shotting.
Who knows? At this point, it just feels like they don't even know anymore. That's the problem. It's like they don't even know. Elizabeth, there is no pre-show. SmackDown is the pre-show, because then you have NXT that morning, and then you have then you're going to go into the show that night. So from everything I've read, there's no pre-show this year for either night of WrestleMania. So it'll be hitting the ground running. That'll be interesting to see how they open up the show. If you're going to have no pre-show, how do you start the show? Based off of what they've, what match do you put on to start, something like that?
It's probably going to be for night one? Probably, probably Becky and Bianca.
You think that'll be the start?
Yep, because I don't know what they have that's hotter than that, and I think that they're gonna have to close with Austin Owens, right? So, I think you got to have the match. Not that Becky's match has the most. The match doesn't have the most heat, but I think Becky's the most over person. So, get her out there to, jumpstart it, defibrillate, if you will.
I guess that's what I think. So you think they're going to close with KO and Stone Cold?
Bro, you can't follow Stone Cold.
Yeah,
you cannot follow Stone Cold in Texas. You can't. I'm sorry. What else do they got?
I mean, the only thing I think of is they also put Charlotte and Ronda that night.
On Saturday?
Yeah.
That sure as shit ain't gonna follow Stone Cold.
Yeah. So here, let's see. WrestleMania card so far. So let's see. As of last,
True Happy can follow it.
Yeah.
All right, you got some votes back, Liz.
Yeah. Let's see. So Becky and Bianca, Miz and Logan Paul versus the Mysterios, Drew versus Corbin. You got the Usos versus Boogs and Nakamura, Edge and AJ.
This is all on night one?
This is all night one.
Or is this just the matches they've announced? Have they actually... Because they said some of these matches they said on SmackDown like for Saturday, but...
Right. This is what...
It clearly wasn't enough for a whole card. It's like they just announced some of them.
These are the ones that have been announced for Saturday for sure. Okay. So it's Becky and Bianca, The Miz and Logan Paul versus the Mysterios, McIntyre versus Corbin, the Usos versus Boogs, Edge and AJ, Charlotte versus Ronda, and KO and Stone Cold. That's night one. Night two, they have so that's night one.
That's weird that they have both the women's titles on that night. You would think you could split those. You would think that. Well then, look. This is by no means a guarantee that they're going to do it, but my God, please listen to me. Don't do that to anybody, letting them come out after Steve Austin. That would be so fucked up. You gotta end that night with Steve Austin, because it's going to be him beating up Kevin Owens and drinking beer. Not only can you not follow that, you shouldn't have to have somebody like switch out the mats that are soaked in beer after that to have more matches. Like, you can't do any better than that. So I'm gonna say that's probably what they're gonna pick to close night one, and then obviously night two will be Roman and Brock.
Right. Which then you got and then they're saying night two, you got Roman and Brock, you got the women's tag championships, the 4-way there. You got Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory, Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville, and you have RK Bro versus Street Profits. So the things that have not been announced that could be on either of those nights, United States Championship match, Finn Balor versus Damian Priest. That could be something. Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes. That could also be something. So, those are things that, people have been speculating about, but, haven't made an appearance yet.
I put one of those on each night. Whatever Seth Rollins match is going to be on one night, and the U.S. title on the other night. Yeah.
That would be my thought, as well, as you do 1-on-1. Thank you, Sonic. It's good to be back. Appreciate you missing me there. That's the hard part though, is none of this sounds exciting except for Roman, Brock, and I guess Stone Cold. But even still, Stone Cold's in Texas, but how many Texans really know who Stone Cold is?
All of them.
Sort of.
Every Texan. Look, I'll speak for all of you guys. You all know who Stone Cold Steve Austin is.
Well, yeah.
The people that show up at WrestleMania will.
Yes, I'll give you that. So, but it's do we see Seth versus Cody? Is that something? Would you start the second night off with that? Seth coming out and complaining about something, and then Cody saying, he meets the challenge or whatever. I don't know.
How good would it be? Okay, I will say yes. Whatever they do with Seth Rollins, if it is in fact Cody Rhodes, everybody's already just saying it is. So, it's like a poorly kept secret. I'll still believe it when I see it, but let's go with that, right? Mm-hmm. How funny would that be if Cody comes out and everybody boos him just like they did in AEW? Guess what? We're all the same fans. We all watch the same wrestling. Boo! Yeah. Ha ha ha!
Fuck you!
You thought you could escape? Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah,
but they won't. They'll pop just because it's a thing, and then like Dutch Mantel said, by week 6 or whatever, he'll be an afterthought.
Oh, Elizabeth, the NXT show is not Saturday afternoon. It is at 10 in the morning on the AAC. So, if you're looking to watch the NXT show this year, it is 10 in the morning at the American Airlines Center for that day of WrestleMania, the first day. So, yeah, that's you mean to tell me this is how much they think about NXT? They're putting it on at 10 a.m. Could have put it on Thursday night when you had time and you can rent the AC, because you already had the AC for Friday, for SmackDown and everything. But no, you go put it on at 10 in the morning on Saturday before WrestleMania.
Well, they don't want to. They don't want to do it on Thursday night and get crushed by Impact.
Yeah, because yeah. Yeah, no.
I'm sorry, I couldn't even keep a straight face.
I know. That. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no. NXT is is at 10 o'clock.
Perhaps NXT is best enjoyed as a breakfast.
Yeah,
you bring your bagel and coffee to the show, and maybe bring an orange soda for Wendy Chu. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? It's just it's because they have the Hall of Fame after SmackDown on Friday, and so Stand and Deliver is going to be early that morning. So let's see. I'm going to look at tickets for that. NXT tickets Dallas. I saw that they were doing a deal on that where you could do that. SmackDown and the Hall of Fame or something like that. Let's see. NXT Stand and Deliver. Oh, apparently they moved it up to noon.
Well, maybe you're confused looking at time zones.
It could be. Well,
maybe like when you put the reservation for the show up on YouTube, because these people are now coming in expecting that this is when we'd be starting.
Well, I didn't do that. James did that. All right. James set it up ahead of time. So it could be noon Eastern, and so let's see. Stand and Deliver. Yeah, so it's looking like maybe it's about a noon Eastern time start. So about 11.
It's like 9 a.m. over here.
Yeah. So So that's
definitely early morning bagel and coffee NXT for me.
Yeah. I mean,
or considering my schedule, middle of the afternoon.
Yeah. Brunch time. Yeah. Brunch. Have a little espresso with your slamming, So.
Well, you needed to stay awake.
Yeah.
But anyway, I guess that's it, huh?
That is all we have. We made it through another episode of SmackDown as we are on the road to the most stupidest Wrestlemania that we have. Again, it's just, I mean, the show hasn't started, and I think you and I can both agree that this is the worst Wrestlemania that has ever been put together.
Yeah. Yeah, on paper, there's some nice matches, but it seems even worse. You know what I mean? Considering the build and how they've invested their TV time leading up to it.
Yeah.
It just seems like desperate and pathetic are two good words I would use to describe it.
Yeah. So. I would say that as well. So, everybody, in case you, if you want to ever join the conversation, leave a comment in the live chat, of course. Love you guys being here. As always, sorry again about the early start. James puts the times up, and I told him we were starting at 10, but he put noon anyway, just to be safe. I don't think he checks it. I think he just sets it up and then lets it go. But if you ever want to email the show, make sure you check the links down below. You can tweet us at SmackAttack HMG on Twitter, or you can email the show, smackattack@gmail.com, and you can give us your insights and thoughts that maybe you can't necessarily do on here. If you want to ask questions of us that we'll answer, and ask questions of the vet, myself, James, however we want to do it, you want to go that way. Booker of the Year. Yeah, man, the vet should be Booker of the Year. And then I'm going to put this one more time for you guys. It is now, again, time to vote for Hameen Media Group awards. It's time to vote. Make sure you vote for the vet as many times as you can, even though he is on like 15 different shows and 15 different awards. Definitely make sure he gets Rookie of the Year, as well as Host of the Year, as well as Impact, as well as,
just you know what, but that's very kind of you, sir. What I would say to all you lovely people that are out there, I've been joking about my campaigning and stuff, but a vote for me is a vote for who you truly feel deserves the award. So if I'm in a category with Stevie Richards. I can't take anything away from Stevie Richards. I would be ashamed if you didn't vote for Stevie Richards for Pro of the Year. So like that's your real vote for me. Whoever wins, Rookie of the Year probably me, but everyone else, vote with your heart. And if that heart truly does choose me, then I can accept it. But I want you to be honest with your voting. Don't stuff the ballot box on my account.
Well, I mean, it is one of those things. But yes, you can make sure to vote. James this week is still kind of wedding it up. I have seen a picture of James in the wedding. He is wearing a kilt. He told us earlier, he did pop on and say, have a belt over show, which Vet and I determined it's the belt holding up his kilt. We were hoping he would do a run-in and at least show us his kilt and everything. But alas, James couldn't
be arsed, as he would probably say.
Couldn't be arsed, but again, James proving he doesn't love you like I do, who makes run-ins onto the show from
cars,
at shows of cars, and maybe next week when I'm at WrestleCon, I'll do a run-in because I won't be here next week. But I'm hosting the Savage Gentleman and Lady Frost and getting them around. WrestleMania weekend, taking them to WrestleCon, their different shows that they're doing, and providing a place for them to stay at my house so they can save some money. So I will not be readily available, but I will definitely be doing run-ins. And so you might see me posting from WrestleCon, running in, and maybe getting someone to say hey real quick. And so because I love you guys, I don't not just show up. So WrestleCon, from my understanding, it is vendors who book the people, because April Hunter is going to be in Dallas. I was trying to do a Hami Media Group kind of get together to see who all was going to be here. I know. I also know that the Man Beast is going to be in the area, as well as April Hunter. So far as HMG talent, so we might do a little get together. But April's vendor canceled on her, so she's still going to be here, but she doesn't have a vendor for WrestleCon now. So I've been trying to help her find vendors to maybe get into WrestleCon, or and then I've also kind of talked to some people to use her for some modeling gigs to help have her time here be eventful. So doing what I can to help her out as well. That's kind of how it works with WrestleCon. It's not necessarily, it's just a place where vendors can come to do that too. Yeah, I reached out. If Fido's going to be here, I'd love to meet him and say hey, and see if we can get a Hami Media Group thing get together, maybe Saturday night or Sunday morning. We'll see. However many Hami Media Group people are here, we may take a picture. We may do a fun, quick thing to say hey to everybody. But we'll figure it out. So that's going to be next week. Vet, where can people find you on the internet? Because I know it's super hard to find you. If they want to watch you slay things in elven rings, or watch you video game, how can they find you?
Oh, well, yeah, it's super hard. Like you said, basically nobody can do it. But if you were to try, I would start going down the rabbit hole with @OpinionHaver, and you'll probably find me somewhere. And then that can lead you on a branching path of quests that may eventually lead you to where you can find me. So that's pretty much it. Of course, you can find me on the Impact Attack every week. You can find me on the Next Level Wrestling Review podcast with Big Ray every week. You can usually find me here on Smack Attack because one or both of you guys are always got something going on. And I'm happy to fill in, even if I would say, even though I have to watch SmackDown, but let's face it, I watch it anyway because I have to keep up. But yeah, I think that'll just about do it for me. Now, I'm already starting watching New Japan, the only real wrestling promotion left in the world. And you might be interested to know that on El Phantasmo's light-up jacket this week, he had the DX logo. So
really?
Maybe a little shout out for Triple H, since he's just announced his retirement.
Or Scott Hall, since he just passed. So.
Well, he's already done those ones. He's done he did like a Razor Ramon themed light up, like, because you've seen his, you know what I'm talking about, right? He has his light up jacket. It basically has like a billboard on the back, and then he programs in whatever he wants it to show. So he done a Razor Ramon and an Outsiders one of those.
Okay, cool.
And he also did what did he do? He's done so. You know, he does whatever's current. He's got current stuff. You know.
Okay. Yeah. See,
perhaps like certain flags of certain countries that may be in certain conflicts right now.
Gotcha.
You know, things like that.
Gotcha. Like I said, I've been behind. Last thing I saw was Tom and Tonga getting beat up in 6 and 9, showing up and helping out, and they're like Thomas saying, "I think we found a home." So apparently,
now this face off here, we've got Master Wato, Tanahashi, Taguchi, and the Gorillas of Destiny versus Bullet Club.
Oh wow!
Pretty exciting match to start off the show.
I would say so. That's just me, though. But that's just New Japan, because that's what New Japan do. They make exciting shows even when you don't think it's going to happen. Yes. I mean, it is what it is. So, all right. Well, Vet, thank you very much, sir. If you want to find me on the internet, you can find me, Jay Reezy Min, on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, John Enright on Facebook. If you want to talk, if you need help with any kind of mental health issues, you want to find some resources. If you want to be able to find free resources in your area, you can email me, John at freedomhousepc.org. I'd be glad to won't talk wrestling, won't talk anything else, but it's just for mental health advocacy and to help you find a way to begin your healing journey. So other than that, that's all we have for you this week. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time, peace.